Morning, this is Kamera again. We're on day number 76, Joshua 22 through 24. So there's Joshua 22, 23, and 24. These are the last few chapters in Joshua. So we're not even halfway through. Well, we're just halfway through the third month of the year, and we're done with Joshua. Tomorrow we'll be starting in Judges. And so yesterday, our last read was the children of Israel had completed their conquest, where they had to go in and defeat the inhabitants of the territories that God had given them. So now, yeah, everyone's in their allotted lands. They are settled, and so now Joshua calls Reuben, Gad, and the other half of Manasseh and told them that they were faithful in what they did. They didn't abandon their brothers. They fought with their whole heart and assisted them in acquiring their lands. And now they are free to go back to their homes on the other side of the Jordan. Remember, they were the first ones to get their lands. And so Joshua basically blessed them and just reminded them to serve the Lord wholeheartedly, don't deviate from it, and obey his commands. Obey his commands, follow his ways. And he told them that they can go ahead and go back to their land. So they go back to their own lands. But on their way, just before they crossed the Jordan, they decided to build an altar. Okay, children of Israel hears about this and said, oh my gosh, they are really trying to bring a curse amongst us. And so they send Phinehas and a few of the other, like 10 leaders from 10 of the tribes, and, well, one leader from each tribe, which were 10 tribes, and with their along with their entourage, and they confronted Reuben and Gad and Manasseh, like, listen, I know you guys aren't trying God. Did you guys forget what he did to us back in the day when we tried him like this? We are still trying to recover. Do you not remember what he did to Achan? Achan, he wasn't the only one to die. So they're like, I know that you guys aren't rebelling against God, building an altar against him. And so they're like, oh, heck to the no. We are no fools. Mama didn't raise no fool here. And so they're like, listen, we only built this altar as a replica, a reminder, a memorial that we are with God, that we are one of God's chosen, we are one of God's people. We have a feeling that in the future, our descendants, your descendants, are going to reject our people because we're on the other side of the Jordan. We need to let them know that, you know, we are God's people as well. So that altar is not for burnt offerings or anything. We know where to go for our burnt offerings, to the tabernacle. So no, this is just a memorial, you know, just to remind them that between us and you guys, that we are with the Lord. And so, you know, the entourage was they were okay with that. They were fine. And they decided, after that, they went back, told the children of Israel what happened, and everybody was satisfied with that. Okay. So yeah, those people, they knew better. And so it kind of made sense because, you know, something, the descendants, for some reason, they felt like it was okay, you know, to build that as a reminder. I think that was pretty wise of them to remind them to let people know that we are God's people, because the descendants may have, you know, started acting up. And so, I mean, we used to have things hanging up to remind people, let people know that we are God's people too. So that's what I saw that as when I read that. Also, they called the altar witness. That's what they called that altar, witness. And so years passed after that. And so Joshua, old, peace in the land from the enemies, no one's bothering him, but now he's old. And so he calls all the people of authority, the leaders, the elders, from all over Israel. He summoned all of them, the leaders, all the leaders, elders, the judges, the officials, and he let them know, I'm old now, and you guys need to follow God wholeheartedly. Don't deviate. Don't serve any other idols. Follow his commands. You know. And then after that, he summoned all of Israel And so once he summoned everyone, including the officials, the elders, and everyone, he gave them a historical account of God's relationship with the children of Israel, how it all started. He started off by telling them about Abraham. He called Abraham from his people. Abraham's people, where he came from, they were serving other gods. He called Abraham away from all of that. He said, even terror, all of them. He called Abraham from out of that. And so he gave an account of what he had done for Abraham, all the covenants, the promises. And then he talked about how God had blessed Abraham with Isaac, and how everyone came from Isaac's line. He blessed them through Isaac. And so he talked about Isaac, and he talked about Jacob and Esau, and how he talked about Jacob and how, I guess, whatever it is about, everything. You guys ought to know the history of Jacob. And how he had his 12 sons. Eventually they moved to Egypt, and from Egypt he talked about the journey of the wilderness, and he reminded them of certain things that happened in the wilderness. And then he talked about how he helped them to conquer certain battles, and how he gave them this land, and they didn't have to work for it. They didn't have to, plant anything. They didn't have to do everything. It was fruitful. It was a fruitful land. The lands were already prepped and fertile and everything. They didn't have to work for that. The only thing they had to do was just the battle. But God was there. God was the one who helped them to win the battle. But he said, listen, those people you didn't drive out, don't let them turn your hearts. Don't let them turn your hearts or intermarry. Serve God. Don't serve any other idols. Serve God wholeheartedly. Don't deviate from his commands. Obey him. God is a good God. He is the one true God. And so with that, they basically said, we choose. Also, Joshua said, as for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord. And so the children of Israel were like, us too. We know what God has done. God brought us through the wilderness. God blessed us with all this. God did this. God did that. God did. Now they're saying all the stuff they did. Yeah, we're never going to abandon God. No, we know who God is, the one true God. This is what they said. And so, yeah, they served God throughout Joshua's life, through the elders' lives and all that. But they said, no, we're going to serve God. We're not going to abandon God or what have you. And so, but Joshua was like, listen, don't do it, guys. I'm telling you, God is a good God. Just like he blessed you guys, he can bring disaster on you. And so, yeah, once they agreed that they promised, God, Joshua was like, well, here's a rock here. This rock witnessed everything you guys said. And, yeah, it's a witness. We're going to put it under this tree as a reminder that you guys said what you said. And so after that, they left. Everybody went to their own little towns, their own little settlements, their own little territories. And Joshua died at 110 years old. So he dies at 110 years old. They bury him in the land of Ephraim. Eliezer, he died as well. And they buried him somewhere in Ephraim as well. But that's where we are, guys. Joshua has died. And this is the last reading. Joshua 24 is the last chapter in Joshua. And so, yeah, we're done. So we did what? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua. There you go. And now we're going into Judges. So that completes day number 76. Joshua chapter 22 through 24. So you guys have a great, wonderful, blessed day.